Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Race Talk with Roy Henry. We're at the home of Camran, the cameraman in Americus, Indiana, and we're right across the street from our old flagman Jim Brand, who passed away not so long ago. A lot of people knew him as Red Brand. Still residing at the residence is his really nice wife Shirley and their son Christopher. Christopher's still racing, but he races on the asphalt. And they have a garage back behind where they work on the cars. Speaking of working on cars, this is the home of Ray Smith, a 73 car, the sport compact class, and they're over there pounding out the dents now that occurred from racing at Kokomo on Sunday. And so Camran, we're here to make an announcement to everyone about what happened as a result of filming video number 4 yesterday at Gregory's Race Shop in West Point, Indiana, interviewing Brent Gregory and Justin Gregory. As we got halfway into the interview, when we were talking about Justin and Brent's grandpa, who was the first racer of the family, that there was no way that we could induct him into the Henry Speedway Hall of Fame because he didn't race at Henry Speedway. He raced at Rensselaer. When Rensselaer came into the picture, it took us back to interview number 1 that we did with Roger Williams. And Roger Williams couldn't do the first video without talking about his beginning history, which started out at Kokomo. So they went to Kokomo before they came to Henry Speedway. And then as we did video number 2, interviewing Bob and Gail Camp for K-Motion Racing, now K-Motion Valve Springs, they showed us pictures of Bruce Hartlip in the K-Motion car winning at Winchester. And then they showed other pictures of other racetracks. Then when we got to video number 3 at Clint Hall's house, the whole purpose of going to interview Clint Hall was to talk about the miracle win that took place at another racetrack, Vermilion County Speedway. When we did video number 4 and Rensselaer came up again with the racing history of Brent Gregory and Justin Gregory, that was also the history of myself with my brother Alan, my sister Marilyn, my mom Rose. We were all taken as a family to Rensselaer. That's where our racing history began. And soon, Camran, we will be doing an interview with Ted Wilson. And Ted Wilson has a lot to do with the history of Rensselaer, but Ted Wilson also graduated to become part of the history of the Indianapolis 500 and the museum. So Camran, now having done 4 videos, we realize what we're doing involves a lot more than just the history of one racetrack, Henry Speedway, now Darty Speedway. And so from this time on, we're going to be looking into the history of the other short racetracks, and including the Indianapolis 500. And as we think about this, the racing family of Darty Speedway, Henry Speedway, we already know that it extends out to 17 states and 4 countries. And so as people have moved away into different states, they also go to different racetracks. And as we would start to learn their history of what's been happening with them since they no longer came to Henry Speedway, we will start to learn the history of the racetracks and where they're at. We will start to see pictures from the racetracks they've been going to. And so we're starting to realize that every racetrack has its own history. And as we started to realize this, we then, because of the work we've already done with delving into the history of Henry Speedway and talking about a Hall of Fame night and talking about establishing a building on the property across the street from the racetrack and talking about gathering together there on the property across the street from the racetrack with people of the Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame, and Mall of Fame of Henry Speedway, which we still hope to do, we encourage now every racetrack promoter, every racetrack owner to start delving into their own history if they haven't yet done so. And we would encourage them to have their own Hall of Fame race night, using Darty Speedway as an example. Darty Speedway opened up in 2014. But it had been closed since 2009. So this time, when people come to the racetrack at Darty Speedway, a lot of people don't know the history They don't know the old drivers. And so that's why it would be very interesting to have a Hall of Fame night at Darty Speedway, but at every racetrack, so that the new fans and the new drivers can get familiar and come to know the old drivers of the past, and have everybody come together as one family. And that's the work that we're doing. We're trying to establish the racing family. And what we're starting to find out from going to other homes, just with 4 interviews, we're starting to realize the racing family is really huge, really big, and we're just starting to realize how big it is. And so, Camran, you want to bring Trevor Howard into the picture and tell the story of Trevor.
Well, Trevor Howard here. I was sick one day, and we were working on the video of Bob and Gail Camp. So as I was sick, Roy found him and had him start recording. Then I was on day 2 of the interview, and it went on to 6 days. So that's how I met Trevor and Trevor met me.
Now, Camran, your skill is really on that camera that takes pictures, not the video camera.
No.
You just came out to help out with the video camera. You weren't used to it.
No.
It's been a little awkward. We all know that, but we had a beginning. So what we'd like to do now that Trevor is with us, we'd like to put Trevor over on the video camera and put you on the still camera so that you can take pictures, still pictures from all angles, and then we can incorporate those into the video. And so things should be much better when we get ready to do video number 5, wherever that's going to be.
Yeah.